Hello and welcome to the Movie Night Pajama Sew-Along. My name is Trissa and I am your host. In this video, we will be sewing up our side seams, attaching our cuffs to our sleeves, and hemming the bottom of our shirt. So go ahead and start off by grabbing your shirt, which should be about this completed at this point, as well as your cuffs, your two cuffs, and then some pins.
Okay, so you should have your shirt and your two cuff pieces. Go ahead and put your cuff pieces aside for right now. And then we're going to put our shirt right sides together. We're going to start off by pinning up the side seams, so go ahead and grab your pins. And I like to start from the bottom. Match up the bottom and put a pin in it. I like to pin sleeves together. Match that up and put a pin in it. And then match up the bottom of your sleeve. And now go ahead and finish pinning along the rest of your side seam. Now with that done, go ahead and repeat that for the other side. Now with both side seams pinned, go ahead and grab your cuffs and we are going to fold them right sides together. Make sure the greatest stretch is going horizontally, and then we're going to pin it. So fold it hamburger style, and then go ahead and pin those. Okay, now with everything pinned, we are going to go ahead and sew everything up. Remember to use a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then again for my cuffs, just like for my neckband, I like to sew this with a sewing machine because it lays flatter and I can press the seam open and it creates a lot less bulk. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So sew those up and then we'll come back. Now with your side seam sewn and your two cuffs sewn, go ahead and turn your bodice right side out. And then take your two cuffs and then we're going to fold those in half. Wrong sides together for these. Then I like to go ahead and put a pin to hold the seams together, and I put one pin in the back. For the bigger sleeves, like the men's or the women's, I'll usually do the center front, center back, and the quarter points, just because it's the sleeves and the cuffs are a lot bigger. On the kids version, it's a lot smaller, so I usually can get by with just doing the two. But on the men's or women's, you're welcome to do the 4 quarter points. Also, if your seams at the end seem to be coming out a little bit, you can tie all your threads together in a knot to help keep it together. So again, remember, square knot, right over left, and then left over right. And then I'll keep your thread from coming apart. And then I take my sleeves and I mark the center back, opposite side of the seam. You want to take your sleeve and match up the seam to the seam. Put the sleeve inside the cuff. Once these are matched up, go ahead and put a pin in it. And then match up any other pins that you have done. So I like to kind of stretch it a little bit, make sure everything's even. If you want, you can put an additional pin on either side, but if not, leave it and then go and do that. Same thing to the other side. Now with both cuffs pinned, I'd like to sew inside out. So I'm going to flip my shirt inside out. You can sew it just like this. But again, just like the neckband, I like my upper loopers to be on top. Now you're ready to attach your cuffs. So small cuffs can get a little tricky. That's why I like to sew with the foot inside of the cuff. Makes it a little bit easier to maneuver around. Also, again, like how I do the neckbands, is I start before the seam of the cuff, go all the way around, and then go over the stitches by about an inch without cutting the existing stitches that I've already made. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then you repeat that for the other side. Now with the cuffs attached to the sleeves, we are going to hem the bottom of our shirt. Make sure you are double checking the instructions to make sure what the hem allowance is. This is a children's version, so the hem allowance is 3/4 of an inch, but make sure you double check for the women's and the men's patterns. This tool is helpful in hemming. You can go ahead and move this little knob to whatever the hem is, and then you can check it with the shirt to make sure that it is correct. So this is helpful to use for things like that. So go ahead and hem the bottom of your shirt. I like to double check the hem in a few places to make sure it is the same. I do it where the seams are, and those match, and then in the middle of those two spots, just to make sure it's accurate. And that is good. So with it all pinned, I turn it inside out, and then hem this. Now with the bottom of our shirt hemmed, we are going to tie off the thread with a square knot. So go ahead and get that thread. I'm going to start off with the left, over the right, under and through, and then take the right over the left, under and through. You want to make sure you do a square knot because a double granny knot will eventually come undone, and you do not want that for your hem. So once that knot is tied, go ahead and trim your thread. And now your shirt is all done. Go ahead and set that aside, and we will do the pants tomorrow. To stay up to date on future videos, please subscribe to my channel. You can also view more on my blog at sewingandthings.com.